Today we're going to make some spring flowers, and here's an example already done of what we're going to be making today. So we're going to use some circles, some paper circles, cut out 3 of them and stack them up for the center of the flowers, and then we're going to add some designs on the outside, some petals and some leaves and other designs in the picture using markers. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is get some scrap paper, scrap construction paper for your table. So I just grabbed a little handful here out of the box, a bunch of different colors, all different sizes, so that I can use those for my project today. So I have some pink, ooh, there's a little piece of some blue with a little pink in it, black, white, yellow, red. Just grab a little mixture of everything. So the first thing you're going to do is cut out your circles. So you need 3 big circles, 3 medium circles, and 3 small circles. So I would suggest cutting out the big circles first. When I cut out a circle, I take my paper and I cut it into kind of a square or a rectangle shape. And if it's crinkled, that's okay. You can kind of see in the original one right here, it's kind of wrinkly a little bit around the edge. It adds some nice texture to it. So the best way I found to make circles is to start with your rectangle or square and start curving off the corners. So I'm not cutting all the way around at one time. I'm just making some small cuts. So you can already see that looks a lot more like a circle than it did, but there's still some flat edges. So then I'll go around again and make some small cuts. There we go. So there we have a big circle, and you're going to have a lot of scraps at your table. I've already cut some of my circles out, and I already have a ton of scraps just for me. So when you have 4 of you sitting at a table, you're going to have a lot of scraps. So make a scrap pile that goes in the garbage, and when you get done at the end of the class, then you can just throw that whole thing in the garbage. So
you need 3 big circles, which I've already cut, and this one I had already glued together. So I had a red, white, and a yellow one.
And then I need 3 medium circles. So you want to make sure that you're not cutting the same color, all the same color of medium circles. Like I had already cut a red medium circle. I don't want to put red on the red large circle because you can't really see it. So once you think it's about the right size, so this might be about the right size, then I can set it on there and check. And if it looks like it would fit, then I can go ahead and use it. If it's a little bit too big, I can trim it down. That's up to you. So I have another small one here for my, and if it's not exactly a square or rectangle, that's okay. For example, this piece right here, it's kind of rugged around the edges, but I can just use that same technique and cut off the curves, or cut off the corners. Just curve those corners around. Now I have my 3 flowers, and I'm going to glue them together. Now for the background, you can choose any piece of construction paper, but you want one that's a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and try with the black today. So once I have my paper, I am going to choose where to put my flowers. So I glued them together first, so then I can set them on here and kind of decide where I want them to go.
So this is probably a pretty good distance right here. So then once I have that decided, now this has pencil on the back, so I want to make sure I'm gluing the pencil down to my paper, then I don't see it.
Now since I have everything stuck down, I need to draw the flowers.
The flower petals and the leaves and the stems. So I would suggest, there's a lot of different colors of markers. I would suggest using darker colors because they're going to show up better. Especially, well, on the black we're going to have to use lighter, but especially here, you can see the big difference between the black you can see really well, the gray you can see okay, and the silver is, sometimes it's easy to see in the light and sometimes it's a little bit harder.
So the first thing you want to do is draw your stem Oh, that black shows up really nice. Make sure the stem goes all the way down to the ground. Once you have the stem, then it's time to start working on the petals. I'm going to give you a few ideas for petals. You can use my ideas if you want to, or you might be able to come up with some of your own ideas, and that would be great. I would love to see them. So the first one that we usually see with flowers is kind of a curved line. It's kind of like the line jumps. Jump, jump, jumping all the way around. Now right here, if I kept drawing, this line is going to go off of the page. So what I do is start here and draw a little bit, then pretend like my marker keeps going around and then down. Where it connects with the paper, then I keep drawing, and then up, pretend to draw if it's off the paper, and then down, and jump one more time to the end. So I drew my stem first and then my petals. Let's go on, let's try this gray on this paper. I'm not sure how gray will show up. Another thing you can do is trace around the center of the petal first, or the center of the flower, and then draw your stem.
Oh, that long line ran into that petal. So I'm pretending that this flower is going over the top of this one. This flower. So when my petal comes out and reaches the petal of my red flower, I'm just going to stop and pretend like it goes underneath. So I have long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, long. Oh, goodness, I got that short one kind of long. Short, long, short, long, short, long. Oh, I think.
Oh goodness, look at this is kind of like the case of the disappearing ink here. Right here where the marker's starting to dry, I can hardly see it anymore. That's alright. So we know that gray marker is probably not the best choice if you're working on black paper. So I'll just go ahead and put that. Or the last option I have is the silver marker. I just have a few of these, so you'll be able to share one at your table, and you can do one flower with it on your drawing. The last kind of flower I'm going to show you how to draw petals for is pointy petals. Another thing you could do on any of these, I'll just do it on this one, is put a little dot in the center of each petal. That's another nice little detail, kind of like adding 3 of these loopy jump lines right here. Adds a nice detail to it. Remember, these are just ideas. You might have another idea that you want to try, and absolutely go for it. So cut out 3 big circles, 3 medium circles, and 3 small circles. Glue them together, then glue them on your paper. Then you can go ahead and draw with your markers. So one more thing before I let you go. Please make sure to put your name on the back of your project. I already wrote name on the back of here, but because I want to make sure that you get these back at the end of the year. So after you get done, write your name on it, and then we'll hang them up on the bulletin board so that everyone can see them. I'm really excited to see your drawings. Good luck!